Everybody's making stuff about the Death Note movie right now, and I'm a huge fan of the original anime, so I thought it might be fun to talk about a really important aspect of the show. So here it is. The original Death Note is totally centered around the idea of gameplay. At every level of the show, from its aesthetic, to its characters, to its plot, we always have the feeling that what we are experiencing is a complex system of rules that can be understood, interacted with, and beaten. That feeling defines the original Death Note and is not present in the movie adaptation at all. So that's this video, Death Note, how a story plays a game. Most games are defined by a predictable set of mechanics that the player comes to understand over the course of play. When you play Mario, you are offered a set of inputs and obstacles, and you come to understand quickly that these inputs and obstacles are predictable. When you press A, Mario will always jump. When you encounter a Goomba, you can always kill it by jumping on top of it. The rules don't change, they are as true in the first level as they are in the last, so the player is able to master the system. Rules define Death Note in a really fundamental way. The note itself is governed by a strict set of unchanging laws.
This note will not take effect unless the writer has the person's face in their mind when writing his or her name. Therefore, people sharing the same name will not be affected. If the cause of death is written within 40 seconds of writing the person's name, it will happen.
These rules are not up for discussion, they cannot be changed or altered in any way, and because of that, the book presents both the characters and the audience with a system that can be understood and mastered. More than that, the show spends a huge amount of time on the characters learning the rules of the book. Light spends like the first 5 episodes exploring what the Death Note can and cannot do.
Basically, even the Death Note can't do the impossible. But as long as it's within the realistic limits of what that person might do, I can control them as much as I want before they die.
This grounds the show, makes it more about understanding mechanics than about what the Death Note does or who it affects or if Light is right or wrong to use it. But it's not just the note that abides by concrete, unchangeable rules, the characters do too. Death Note centers on characters who almost always act in predictable ways, more like video game AI than like flesh and blood people. Misa Amane is a good example. She starts off the show this unreliable force, it's unclear what she wants or what her aims are. But within a few episodes, her motivations are clear, and there are a few basic rules that she follows. Misa Amane will always act in what she sees as Kira's best interest.
Why are you doing this to me? If you want me to kill her, just say so and I'll kill her!
Misa Amane will do anything to be Light's girlfriend.
Would you please make me your girlfriend?
These two rules dictate everything she ever does, and because of that, she's a predictable tool, something that Light can use as one would use a piece in a strategy game. And there's plenty more examples. Soichiro Yagami, Light's dad, is defined by 3 rules. 1, he actively wants to hunt Kira down. 2, he follows the letter of the law no matter what.
Japanese law forbids civilians from having guns. That means you shouldn't be using one either.
And 3, he doesn't want to think that Light is Kira, and he will fight to prove it.
I don't have to tell you how offended I am to learn my family is under suspicion. Having said that, just go ahead with it.
L is defined by only 1 rule. He wants to find out who Kira is and will do whatever it takes to complete that mission. These rules do not change, and the audience can always guess what actions will lead to what consequences. You press A in Mario, you make him jump. Now compare that to the Netflix version. First, the rules defining the book's use are pretty ambiguous. When Light Turner asks about the rules,
I decide who dies, you obey me, those are the rules.
Ryuk says,
"And who do you think wrote the rules?"
And the audience is left wondering, is the Death Note predictable? Will the same input into it always have the same output? And while the show spends so much time with characters figuring out how the note works, the movie hands Light the complete set of rules and Light is literally bored by it.
Jesus, how many rules does it...
Second, the characters don't feel gamey at all. Where the original show is filled with AI-like figures, the movie has all these characters who act erratically. L, for instance. At the beginning, he's like,
I do not kill, Light. I don't even carry a gun.
But by the end, he's running through the streets, tracking down Light with a gun. Mia. At the beginning, she seems to have moral integrity and think that killing the world's criminals is a good thing to do, but by the end, she seems totally amoral and will do literally anything for the Death Note.
You're going to officially pass the book to me. And then once I'm the keeper, I'll burn your page.
Ryuk. Does he hate Light? Is he trying to get the note back? Does he actively want to kill bad people in the world?
I need to separate the wheat from the chaff.
Honestly, his character is a mess, which kinda sucks because Willem Dafoe is a spot-on casting choice. The whole movie just lacks the mechanics-heavy feeling of the original show. It's less like a game, more like a cheesy horror film. But gameplay isn't only defined by predictable systems, it's also defined by win states. I win! Broadly speaking, most games have a win state, and most play is directed toward that win state. In Mario, you want to beat every level and defeat Bowser. In Worlds of Goo, you want to build a stable tower. In Papers, Please, you want to inspect documents and help your family survive. This game logic is at the heart of Death Note.
Each of them has to hunt down the other without knowing the other's name or face, and the first one whose identity is revealed will die.
The entire show is centered around a single win state. Light wants to
become the god of this new world.
There is no other thing that motivates Light. He doesn't care about women or introspection or getting happier. The only thing that's ever on his mind is beating L and controlling the world. And that one-dimensional characterization might seem kind of lazy, but it also allows Light to function as a video game character. Death Note is not a show about why we want to win or about the lessons that we learn on the way to winning. It's a show about how we win, about how much fun it is to play a game and try your best and win. The movie doesn't have this feeling at all. Light Turner lacks any stable win condition. At first, he seems to like the Death Note and want to use it to rid the world of criminals.
I guess I should feel guilty, but I don't.
But then, when Ryuk starts meddling, he doesn't like the note anymore and tries to find a way out of the whole situation.
Maybe they're as ready to see the killing end as you are.
And then, at the end, he pulls off this whole big gambit and he's back to wanting to use the power of the Death Note again. The Netflix movie seems to want to make a more substantial character out of Light, give him all these motivations. He loves his girlfriend, he loves his dad, he has morals that change over the course of the film. And there's nothing wrong with character development, but the movie lacks the simplicity of form that the original had, and because of that, it doesn't center on winning or on a system of mechanics, it centers on Light Turner, and that's just not as fun. I mean, Turner is just not interesting enough to justify a movie.
Yeah, this is over. Ryuk fucked us, we're not the good guys anymore.
Look, it doesn't take a genius to say that the original Death Note is fixated on gameplay. I mean, games are all over the place in this show. There's this great tennis game. Chess is used as a metaphor for the interaction between Light and L. And these screens that happen every episode are evocative of load screens in video games. But it's rare to see a show that so embraces the norms of another medium, and does that to such great effect. The emphasis on win conditions, the emphasis on predictable, unchanging rules, gives the show an amazing sense of play, and allows the audience to become super engaged. The Netflix movie was bad for a lot of reasons, but I think the absence of this feeling is really what doomed it to mediocrity. Woo! Like and comment and subscribe, and you might find that Christmas is gonna come a little early for you.